I got my blanket.
Okay, we should be live.
Hey, everybody! If we're actually live, because uh, Raislin has trouble
We're live.
sometimes starting the stream. All right, we're live. So,
Hey.
welcome everyone to the ninth episode, House After Party, featuring once again your two favorite people, Swifty and Raislin, and some guy, random guy, uh, the chef himself. Look at him. He's wearing a chef shirt. Like, come on.
It's a jacket and a shirt.
Irish pride. All right, whatever. Irish pride. Sub turned hero for IG carried them into semifinals of the playoffs. Gordan Ramsey himself. What a guy here, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff that he does. A lot of stuff that he played in this past weekend, and just stuff about House Party in general. So, I guess Raislin, you can kick it off while I message a bunch of people that were live.
Okay. So I guess to start it off first is I don't think that was quite enough introduction for Mr. Gordon Ramsay. He is actually a successful YouTuber. So, and
Extraordinary.
he does have 30,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He does streaming and stuff like that. So Gordon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as well as the work that you do?
All right. Well, actually, I'll get into the name part later because you always do that at the end. But I'm pretty much a full game commentary league YouTuber where I just pretty much play the game and then try to break it down and analyze, where and why I'm doing things to try and help better the community with, trying to make it a positive experience as well, kind of fun as well. So pretty much just a teaching channel dedicated to trying to make people a little bit better at League. And my channel, bad. Don't say it's good, man. Only it's not that big. Like,
No, I mean you have 30K subscribers. That's pretty. You make money off YouTube. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if anyone knows how
I
the
guess.
the analytics and the partnerships work for YouTube, but it's pretty fucking terrible.
Actually, you see this guy in my webcam right behind me, right there. He actually used to have a. Connor, how many subscribers did you have in your peak?
Wait, are you talking to me or him?
His brother.
Okay, we're both called Connor.
30, 30.
Wait, no.
Connor, you're fucking retarded.
33,000.
33,000. Nice.
That's
So,
like
I mean,
exactly where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And then he quit playing his little mobile game. So then all his subscribers left him. But anyway,
No, that's
whatever. But so sad. But yeah, he made money off that too. So I'm jealous, to be honest.
it's not enough to pay hardly anything except maybe food. But
Well, I mean, I don't know how much you made, but I mean, I looked at his things. I was get jealous because he. I mean, it's still a lot of work though, putting in like editing for. I don't know how much. I don't.
No work at all. I just played it and uploaded.
Okay.
It's like 40 hours at a time.
So-
Okay.
So
Never
Gordon,
mind.
Gordon, how much work do you put in a week on YouTube?
well, obviously you have to play at least one game and hope that's good. So bare minimum, it's like 40 minutes for a video a day because I try and do daily uploads. But some days, you'll have an AFK or you'll have a troll or just a really rude experience in the game. So you can go. I've had days where I've had like 7 games in a row that I just didn't think were worthy of uploading. Like they weren't funny or they weren't educational. Like I'll upload bosses all the time as long as someone can learn something from it. So there are days where you could spend hours and have nothing to show for it. So that can be pretty frustrating.
Do you know how much you make per hour?
Per hour, it's
Yeah.
probably around. It's not minimum wage, I could tell you that. So I've done that math before. So it's probably at the moment just under minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so-
can't give you an exact number though.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just a little bit so that way people know where
Yeah.
you're coming from and how much you
And
make.
it
So
also depends on like YouTube's analytical, like you said, their algorithm is really weird. So another channel with the same amount of subscriber could make a lot more than me, just depending on how their videos do, like with time watched and whatnot. So I'm in the weird category where every video is 30 plus minutes, which for my demographic, which mainly is mid teenagers and mostly male, they don't have the attention span to watch a whole 30-minute video, so you don't get that great of a turnout on every video. So it definitely depends. So you'll see different variations in different channels.
Okay, so for your YouTube channel, did it start out small and it grew over time, or was there one
Oh
really
yeah.
breaking moment where it just kind of exploded?
So the initial reason why I started making one was because I've always liked teaching players and friends in real life and whatnot. So I played WoW for like 7 years before I played League, and I always taught my real life friends how to play. So when I started playing League, I had to convert all of them to playing League. And one of my real life friends, Aaron, or as a lot of you might know him, Ankle Spanking, he was like, you know, you should just do what you do in real life, but try it out in a video form, and try to coach people through full game commentaries. So I decided to give it a shot, and the first like month or two, I think I have every video still available to watch as well. If you go back and watch my first videos, they're just so bad because I had to learn, get the swing of things and figure out how to play and talk the whole time and be entertaining. So I started off pretty slow, but then I don't think there was ever just one video that had a breakout for me. I know Aaron's breakout video was when Rengar was released. He went on the PBE and he was the first video on YouTube of Rengar gameplay, and it got like a couple million views, and he blew up from that. So I'm still waiting for that video to help me out, but over time, I mean, I've had stuff where I've had the 1v4 outplay quadra kill against Night Blue and stuff. That stuff, if you ever make like a crazy play and it gets on Reddit, you can get a pretty big increase from that, but pretty much it's been gradual over time.
Hmm. Did you ever post your own stuff to Reddit, or have you always let other people post it?
If I do like a highlight reel or a montage, I'll post that, but full, like I said, the demographic, you can't get away with posting a 30+ minute video on Reddit because you'll get like one viewer or like one thumbs up. It just doesn't work unless you're Thorin, but he's known for that. So I never really bothered with Reddit.
Hmm. Okay. So, the reason that I'm asking a lot of these questions about your channel is currently the state of House Party. Some would say that it's dying, others would say that people are just aren't as involved. Some people are saying that they just don't have the social media following. What do you think the reason is that House Party right now isn't expanding very fast? Or at least
But
noticeably?
it's all about exposure. I mean, I know when I first joined, I actually saw the post that made it to front page leak subreddit where they were, just advertising their community, which I know they said they'll probably do again after playoffs wrap up, but I think they definitely need to just be focused on getting content out there or getting anything out there. Because at the moment, it's just on the subreddit, and if you're not part of the community, the only way you can really get in is through, word of mouth through a friend. So I definitely think exposure is just huge. So definitely, like I said, I mean, there have been suggestion videos of like, hey, we can make this, we can make a highlight video or stuff like that, which it does take a body and, a human to go put those hours
Hmm.
and make that. So
Okay,
like they said, everything's voluntary, but exposure is
so,
pretty much.
assuming that right now they don't have the manpower to actually run things or the hours, what are some small things that they could do that would not take a lot of time that would help to increase this following?
I definitely think, I guess I'll be biased, but I've been in the business and know like what people need to do, especially for like channels for growth. I don't have one yet. I don't know why I don't have one yet, but you need to have a trailer video or just a hype video. So definitely, I would say try and find just hype from wherever. It could be in houses, it could be Premier League, minor league. Just get Captain Flowers, doing his thing in a crazy team fight, and make like a 2 minute video just showing what House Party is about, and have it be available so you don't have to rely just on word of mouth. If somebody asks, like what's House Party, you can just link them to this, and it'll be a short, brief description of what that is. So I think that definitely needs to get done. And then other things that don't take too much effort is just social media. I mean, you can write up a post and you can literally copy paste it to every single platform. So I think they definitely need to be a little bit more reliant on that. Because I followed their Twitter, and I think they have a Facebook as well, but there's just never posts there, so it's not getting attention out there.
Hmm. What do you think about promoting different other tactics? So, what right now the only things that, from what I know of, that get posted on like Reddit or promoted is the Swiss tournament. Do you think
Yeah.
that they should be trying to promote other things such as community or
Yeah, I mean,
family relationships, stuff like that, and try to
I
look
think
at that focus rather than just tournaments?
you can do. That's the beauty of House Party, because it is kind of like a house, full of a family. You can have, hey, I see you, Shifty. But you have so many components that people enjoy. Some people I know just literally watch only minor and Premier League games. They don't play in anything, but they just enjoy watching the competitiveness and following certain teams. You have other people who just enjoy playing in houses, or some people who literally just like to play the games and be in a competitive role, kind of like Little Frosty on Syndicate. He doesn't pay attention to any of the streams, any of the Reddit posts or whatnot. I don't think he's ever been on Reddit, but he just loves playing at a high level and competing. So they have so many different platforms that they could advertise, but there's just nothing being put out at the moment. So I think they could go any which way.
Okay.
On the when I posted that on the announcement for the thing tonight, Red Eye, who's I'm not really sure what his role is, but I know he's like in an admin kind of place. He said that there was going to be a kind of a big thing coming up. So I don't know. I guess maybe they might be addressing some of those things. So hype for that, I guess. So it's not like they're not doing anything. I don't think they're just
Well, right now they're
taking their
not.
time.
Yeah.
Well,
Right now there is absolutely zero social media besides the House Party Reddit things. And one of the easiest things they could do is Twitch allows you a direct upload, don't they, from Twitch to YouTube?
You can just straight up upload the entire VOD, or
Yeah.
I think you can edit it as well, or trim it.
Yeah. So I mean that would save like they wouldn't need any time. They don't need people they just need someone to click a fucking
And
button.
you could just do that overnight.
Yep. And then you could have someone go through later maybe and edit it, or like have two different people doing it. So, and that way you wouldn't need local recordings. I mean, you could make it look nicer if you did local recordings and did editing, but really the basics you could just upload it and start getting it out there. So, it brings me to another question about our lovely community. So, watching the games on Saturday, and I normally don't watch the games or go in the chat on Saturdays. That was not fun. Like, I could honestly say I don't think I would ever want to go back to that chat again, because I'm all for giving someone criticism, right? I do it all the time, and it's my opinion, and I'll fully admit that it is my opinion. It is not a fact. It is a fucking opinion, okay? And so when I give my opinion, I know that I might not be right, but I do a talk show, and that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give my opinion. If I didn't, it'd be really boring. So, that being said, there are some people in that chat who are very, very not very nice, and who take their word at fact. Okay, and I would definitely be able to argue with some of it, other than the fact that they're probably so biased that there is no arguing. So, what do you guys feel about the community right now, and especially the way that the chat has been?
Well, I feel like I'm just like the community in a whole. A couple days ago, someone posted. Let me pull up the subreddit here. Someone posted something about how important message. It was Flowers. He put the important message about shoutcasted in-house and state of House Party, about how the shoutcasted in-houses are going on the decline in viewer count. Although people still like them, but no one's watching them, which I don't blame people. They get kind of old after a while. At least the novelty of it wore off. So he's going to discontinue them for the time being. And then in the comments, Kiona talked about how people should focus more on the leagues and how no one does power rankings or match previews and stuff. And I posted something about how I used to do those, and then I'm not really sure when the whole Swifty kind of BM thing started, but it started.
It's when you
started when I started BMing everyone. So I mean that's fair enough. But then every time I would post anything on the subreddit or anything about that, I would always be at -6 and stuff like that. I mean, at one point I actually offered to pay for someone's Swiss entry fee, and I was at -4. I'm like, okay, I know everyone just got their downvotes back, but this is kind of disheartening. So people, I mean, there's a difference between BM and BMing someone or criticizing someone when they're playing, and then going off in chat about how this is literally the worst thing I've ever watched. Why am I wasting my time? Stuff like that. And then you have to respect people that are either playing in the league right now or that are doing things like that. And I mean, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this point, but I guess that was my
It's
opening
almost more
statement.
like a vendetta rather than just a community. Like there's little gangs of people who are just like, oh, this guy posted something, go downvote him. It's like the opposite of the YouTuber Skype group of plus plus plus. It's more like minus 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 on just certain people.
Right.
And I know I could vouch for certain people in the chat right now that they can't go onto the subreddit and have a serious post without it just getting destroyed by random downvotes. Even if it's like really, really good post to the community, it'll just get downvoted. So it's more just people have like issues with certain people instead of just, trying to be legit and analytical about the game. So
I think more people should talk about the way that like they feel about things rather than it
Yeah.
being a fact, because feelings are not facts, and I have lots of feelings. Okay, I have lots of feelings about the way people play. I don't agree with some of the stuff. I don't agree with builds. I don't agree with rune pages sometimes, but it's a feeling, so it's not a fact. A good example is there was a post about like the power rankings of like talk shows. Like, really, what? How fucking useless are you? Where you fucking post something like that, like, and you know what? I'll take it. You can fucking BM the shit out of me. I don't give a fuck. Because when the end of the day comes, I have a fucking job. I have a degree. I'm working on my master's. Like, what the fuck? Like, really?
Yeah.
You have nothing better in your spare time than to BM our talk show and other talk shows? Like, what the fuck are you doing? So,
I feel like that was more of like a meme thing, to be honest. But
So-
it started out like, I think, did we discuss this, or was it with, no, I think it was with just random people in Slack. But there was Christina did a post about how he was having a coaches
a legit show though. Yeah.
a legit coaches show, and I went and watched it. It was really interesting and
good.
stuff. And then within like a couple hours, someone posted it got a laugh out of me. I'll admit it, like a support. It was making fun of that post, and then maybe a couple minutes later, someone else did one, and then someone did a power rankings of
It's
the
just
talk
like-
shows, and it was just like getting kind of circle jerky and annoying at that point. And then the talk show host and it was just kind of annoying. But and people in Slack kind of, or I don't know if everyone knows what Slack is, but it's like a
It's like Skype.
yeah, it's kind of like Skype, but no like video call, just people talking. And there's a house party one, and we have like 90 or so members in the house party one, and people were going off about how they didn't like it, and people were having some strong opinions and stuff like that. And if you're in the Slack, everyone was defending Christina and saying that all the memes were getting excessive, but then they just like keep happening, and people are not knowing when to stop. So I'm not really sure if people are just doing that when they get called out or what. But
I don't know.
it's just how it works, I guess.
So, I don't know. I think that the people should be nice. Like, okay, if you want to give criticism,
I think
fine.
people should be nice.
Yeah, like, okay, so I think people should give criticism. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a difference between criticism and just being like, if you want to criticize my show and say what we need to do to improve, please, God, do that. Let me know what we need to do to improve. I am all down for improvement, right? But when someone just says, you know what, like I'm just gonna make fun of them or stuff like that, like, come on now, like, really, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, okay, so
Exactly. And to back off on that, like going back to just my series on Saturday, I never have Twitch chat open when I'm physically playing in the game, just because I don't want to look off the side of, after like a pretty bad loss or something like the first game and just see a bunch of flame. Like that's not going to bring you back up. Well, for some people it could be like, hey, I got to prove all these guys wrong. But for me, it's just like, it's not needed. So I just didn't even have chat up. And when I went back and watched all of the series afterwards, I was just like appalled at the chat. I was like, people I've literally never had any interaction with are just like straight up flaming. Like, I don't care if people think I'm bad or whatever, but it's just like a newcomer to the chat wouldn't want to stay just because it was just like a hate mob. So like, why would anyone want to join that and be like, hey, I want to play so they could all flame the shit out of me? It's just like, there was just no criticism there. If there was criticism there, I would have been like, all right, I'll look at it and try and improve on stuff like that. But when there's nothing there but flame, it's not helpful to anyone.
yeah. So, moving on. Let's move on to games. That's so much better games.
You know, you can talk about the get flame per game.
Oh yeah, we're going to.
Flame
You know
per
what?
game.
You know what? I'm actually I'm excited to talk about this Spooky Midnight game. So
All right, get into it then, kid.
okay, so White Lightning versus Spooky Midnight, right? White Lightning bans Yasuo, Quinn, Gangplank. Spooky Midnight bans Lulu, Nidalee, Alistar. White Lightning picks first rotation Nautilus. Spooky Midnight's first rotation is Poppy and Lee Sin. White Lightning's picks are Gragas, Lux. Next ones are Zillion, Sivir for Spooky Midnight. Last ones for White Lightning are Lux or Caitlyn Braum. And then the last one for Spooky Midnight's Morgana. So, Gordon, what did you think about this pick ban phase?
White Lightning should win the game 90% of the time because they just outdrafted the crap out of SM. The only way SM ever wins this game is if Lee Sin somehow comes out like 2-0 at 5 minutes because he is their only engage, and good luck trying to engage into a Nautilus, Gragas, Braum with a Caitlyn who, you know, it's already hard enough to get on top of her. And if he falls behind, which he did, it's just a slaughter, which that game, I mean, that wasn't even close. So that, yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of our first game where we just had a really bad pick ban, which is really, really important in a best of threes to try and adapt to that. So the first game, they didn't show any really good signs of having a chance at winning that.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you think about, this is something I noticed, is that mid lane Zillion was running cleanse, which is interesting, and I kind of understand it, but then I kind of don't, because anytime a Zillion gets caught with like a binding ult, he should just be able to ult in response and live, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the cleanse lost in the game.
Oh, I
but
don't
yeah,
think
it was
so.
Kind of questionable.
I don't think
Yeah.
so either, but that's the small things that I know, especially mid lane, because I watch mid lane very extensively. Like, that is my favorite thing to watch. That's normally what I pay the most attention to. That's why I talk about it the most. It's because that's generally what I'm watching, as well as some of the other game. But what did you guys think about Jett's jungling? I felt like he wasn't at the right place at the right time at all that game.
Yeah, it was just pretty awkward to me. I think he needed to try and take a different approach to, like I said, try and snowball, because if he gets behind or, you know, caught out, they just have literally nothing to win against that comp. So
Yeah.
I don't even think Lee Sin should have been picked, to be honest, because he's such a gimmicky jungler where you have to pretty much play perfectly to get that nasty engage off. So maybe something a little less brain dead to try and lock him down might have been a little better.
You think he should one-trick Zac?
Or more brain dead. Yeah, one trick Zach. But I mean, even Zach pick though, like that's guaranteed dive potential on the back line. So
Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed about this pick ban phase that I want to talk about is it felt like Spooky Midnight couldn't target ban all of White Lightning because they were on a red side, but then they got a bunch of target bans because White Lightning can deal with picks that Spooky Midnight plays. So they kind of know what picks they're going to do. And so, I think they set up this pick ban very, very well. I think Spellbinding got in a very comfortable champion, which sometimes just, maybe Bubbles just couldn't do anything. So I think if it's a supportive mid lane, I think that, I feel like if Spellbinding gets her champions versus another supportive mid lane style, she's going to be fine. And the only time that she's ever going to lose mid lane is if she's against someone who can actually play something that can kill her. So...
or the rest of her team falls behind and then she just falls behind.
Yeah. But that game, they just kind of went off. So, and I felt like she definitely had the team to back her up on those games. And I don't understand how she got the same pick 2 games in a row. So,
yeah.
But.
And then I feel like the Zillion Sivir, it's like, Sivir's really strong right now, but it's still kind of gimmicky as if Zillion or Sivir doesn't get ahead, and I'm not talking maybe 1-0 ahead. I'm talking like 5-0 or 5-1, like all the golds on that one champion. They have no damage at all, especially with Jett's Lee Sin being pretty underwhelming too. So they pretty much lost that game after they had no kills.
Yeah,
I had like 10 minutes or so.
The Zillion pick was really interesting because I don't think they really focused bot lane at all. So who were they gonna have carry that game? Were they hoping that Poppy was gonna carry? Because their bot lane did not do well, and when your bot lane gets behind and you have a supportive mid laner like Zillion or Lulu, you're pretty much just saying, okay, we're done now. So.
And that's why that was such a volatile pick ban for me. It was just they had to get the snowball off, or else their comp just isn't that great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so moving on to game 2, which was also a stomp, kind of.
It was better.
Yeah, it was
than
better.
game 1.
It was better, but it wasn't very good either. So the bans for White Lightning were Yasuo, Quinn, Alistar. The bans for Spooky Midnight were Lulu, Nidalee, and Gragas. And then, let's see, Spooky Midnight picked Nautilus first rotation, focusing on the Nautilus. White Lightning picked up Braum Sin again, or Braum Lee Sin. They decided to take the Lee Sin away from Jet. Second rotation for Spooky Midnight was Elise Lucian. Second rotation for White Lightning was Malphite Callista. And third rotation for Spooky Midnight was Gangplank TF. And the last rotation for White Lightning was Shen. Go.
Okay. To me, Spooky Midnight, they had like 4 out of 5 pieces of Exodia here. Shout out to any Yu-Gi-Oh players there. Their team comp, like, they were just missing the head, man, which, you know, I actually happen to have on my desk. I don't know why, but
Why did you have Exodia?
I don't know, don't ask. But their pick ban was like so close to being such a well-knit team comp to me, and then they picked Gangplank top. They had one of the best pick comps, in my opinion, and then they just have a hyper-scaling top laner who can't really help out the rest of the map, where they're trying to get ahead early with their globals and pick potential, and then they just have something complete opposite of that top. So if they happen to have like a better pick top lane, I think they would have had a way better chance at this game, because that one pick, honestly, I think lost them the game, because White Lightning, they just drafted a crazy team fighting comp, and then SM didn't play to their win condition. They never made picks. They lost vision control, and once you lose that, you lose all ability to pick, and no vision against a team fighting comp. They're just going to play the map and roll over you.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I actually mentioned, is they picked this TF, and the only thing that I can guess is that they were hoping to snowball bot lane again. And I wasn't that impressed with the TF. Like, they knew that they needed early snowballing, and she went Row, which Row is a fine build. But if you need, like, early snowballing, that means you need to do your teleports a lot. And she went Ignite mid lane. Yeah. So I think she would have went a lot better, maybe running, like, because if you run, like, something weird, like 10% CDR, and then you get Sheen Codex, which is 1850 gold, that gives you 30... Yeah, you have 30% CDR, which drops off 54 seconds from your ult, which means that you have a 2 minute and 6 second ult at level 6. Or level 7, right? And that's like huge for making plays. And if you have teleport, then you can just keep jumping across the map. Like, push out your lane, jump. Push out your lane, jump. Push 3 or 4 waves and jump. So, and I just felt like they didn't put enough pressure with that actual TF to get anything snowballing.
I feel like Spellbinding performed really well this series, and Bubbles did not perform very well at all. And I know we were just talking about the whole BM thing, but I feel like I just not been impressed by her, really. And then Spellbinding, I haven't been impressed by her, but she really played very well this series.
She plays...
Maybe I'm gonna be now impressed, but yeah. So. Yeah, I know we've talked about this time and time, and me and Spellbinding have actually talked about it quite a bit too, about how her champion pool doesn't let her, I guess, shine, to put it that way. So you can't really go off. You can't really be too aggressive on how she looks in game. But yeah, she played what champion she got pretty well. So
a lot of the games that I've seen them lose is where they've done a very good pick ban against White Lightning and put her on something she isn't as comfortable with, and then they take something that can kill her over and over again. So that's what I'm saying when I say that limited, like. They put them on the weakest champion because you know what style they prefer to play, right? So they know that if Lux or Lulu's up, she's probably going to play those, right?
Yeah.
So if you build around that and you figure out a way to utilize it, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Spooky Midnight has the capabilities of actually doing a pick ban to actually abuse something like that, at least from what I've seen in these games.
I think they could have. They had at least Twisted Fate, right? Like, that should be free ganks on an immobile mid laner such as Lux.
So, or then it's just the jungling.
Yeah.
So, they got first blood. Like, Bubbles definitely did get first blood on Spellbinding, but then, like, a minute later, White Lightning's jungler came and just killed her because she blew flash to get that kill. So they just traded. So, and then like her first teleport, I think was top lane to dive a turret with a Malphite Lee Sin, and so she got the kill on Lee Sin, but then she died. So I don't know. I just wasn't that impressed with the TF overall.
Oh yeah, the teleport, it looked like an awkward position. I think it could have been a little bit better, and she might have had an escape out, but it might have just been her just focusing on getting that kill, and then whatever happens afterwards happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was one of the few times she used her ult and actually
Oh yeah.
ended up getting a kill, because a lot of the times you'd see team fights happen and she'd still have her ult up. And with their team, they have to be proactive. You can't be reactive at all with a Malphite coming into you. Pretty much the fight's already lost at that point. So a lot of the late game fights, she still had her ult up, which that's not playing into their win condition at all.
Yeah. So did you guys notice all the pauses? Does anyone know why that happened? Like,
No.
was there like internet issues? Because maybe that's why those games weren't that.
Didn't the support of White Lightning DC or something?
Oh, was it the support
I
of
think it
White
was.
Lightning? I don't. I watched the VOD, so.
We'll have to wait for Spellbinding to give us the down low in chat.
But yeah, I think that was a pretty impressive set by White Lightning to go. It was a pretty decisive 2-0.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do against Saw now, because that
Yeah.
was a different White Lightning than what we have seen.
I think it was just Spooky Midnight not showing up
Maybe.
at all. Like, that was just really badly played by them. But yeah, White Lightning looks strong. But you always look strong when your opponent looks really bad.
That is true. So we'll see though. I felt like their macro was a lot better though. They grouped a lot more. They did a lot more rotations those games, which might have just been because they were in the lead. But I think that those games were very good. And if you haven't watched those, I would, at the very least, to
Yeah.
watch a different White Lightning. I would watch those games.
It was Collateral who DC'd, not the support on White Lightning.
Oh.
I got it mixed up.
Okay.
Alright,
So-
so yep, then White Lightning wins.
Yep.
Who do they face? Do they face Saw or
Saw.
Saw.
So I think that's going to be a really, really good series.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah,
nice.
I'm excited
I think
for
both of these series will be pretty good. But yeah, I guess then the next.
Who do you guys think's
next
gonna win?
series.
We'll take that real fast. Who do you think is gonna win between Saw and White Lightning?
I'll just say it's 2-1 either way. I wasn't really paying attention much to Premier League because, as you know, Raisin, but maybe not a lot of other people, I focus more on minor league because I was a sub for Syndicate. So I don't think I've ever actually seen Saw play a game. So I just don't know enough about their team.
Mhm.
But going into it, I definitely think a lot of people are saying it would be 2-0 whoever they play. They're just going to 2-0 no matter what. But after seeing White Lightning's series against SM, I think they can easily get a game or potentially win it.
I think if they play like that, there's a chance that they could 2-1. I'll agree with that. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be 2-1 either way, but
Yep.
it should be really interesting because I think that they're both going to pull out a lot of the cards then, because that's going to be like the big game. So, because
Yeah, that'll be a really,
nothing
really
to
series.
the other side of the bracket, but I don't know. I feel like that's going to be interesting, and I think if White Lightning shows up, then that's going to be the game to watch. So,
Mhm.
moving on to IG, right? The IG games. So.
Yeah.
Which were interesting, to say the least. So we're going to start off with game one. You guys were playing Vanquished, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't totally sure because I couldn't remember.
It says
So.
VQ right on my notes here, but
Oh, God. So that's because your notes are weird because I normally do notes. So, IG bans. TF, Malphite, Alistar. Vanquished bans. Nidalee, Kog'Maw, Lulu. IG first pick Zac. Vanquish first picks are Braum and Nautilus. Second rotation by IG is Morgana Lucian. Second rotation by Vanquished is Gragas Caitlyn. And then last rotation is Fiora Lux for IG, and the last one for Vanquished is Zed. So, the main question to ask here is why did you not go Gragas and why did
I
you
was
go
just gonna
Zed?
ask that. Why? I mean, I feel like why would you ever first pick Zach when Gragas is up? I just don't understand why you would.
We knew. Okay, so first of all, I'm not making. I guess I am making an excuse, but I think we had one legit scrim set because Noted and I joined from Syndicate prior to that week. I think it was at the beginning of the week, and we played White Lightning actually in scrims, and that was our only scrim practice as five together. I think we played one like kind of makeshift game where Naz brought in people, like one member from every team, but that was kind of just a meme game. So we only had 2 legitimate games together, and I think I played Zach maybe both games. So we were just used to that. So we wanted to kind of just go into the first game with what we had played together as a team, and we knew Don't Shoot Me actually plays a lot of Zach, so we were just okay with leaving open the Gragas and taking the Zach just because we'd played it.
Okay, so what about this pick ban? What were you guys doing? What were the comms like? What were you guys talking about in pick ban phase?
Pick ban pretty much, we thought it would go okay, but then we didn't really draft that great of a comp, where it was kind of like referring back to, I believe it was SM versus White Lightning, their first game as well. We just got outdrafted, where if we didn't play right and fall behind, we were just going to lose the game, because I was the only backline threat on that game, and they could peel super easily. Okay, now this is DMing me. But so I got behind. Our whole team actually ended up getting behind, and then their team is just, they have such a great team comp to play with a lead, and they played the map really, really well. We were trying to set up vision for neutral objectives, and then we'd just get there late and then OD be dead and stuff like that. So we just got outplayed in pick ban and in the game, and our comms were really, really bad because Splash actually didn't have his mic available the entire series. He had it available for game 3 for the first 10 minutes, and then the rest of the time he was muted. So it was a 4v5 as far as communication goes, and it was pretty much, I knew how to like communicate with Noided because we played several scrims together on Syndicate together, but when you already hinder yourself and you're coming in as a brand new team, you don't really want that. So first game was just, afterwards we just never talk about it pretty much, but we went in with a disadvantage, to say the least.
So there wasn't a lot of synergy built up on the team. I hope it's going to change for this next week. I hope that you guys are doing something. So otherwise, that's a scary thought, Gordon. So one of the things I will say is Prez's Morgana. That was not good. And maybe it was, I don't know.
It was probably more just because comms weren't there as well, so it probably seemed like he was getting lost and whatnot. And, we didn't have vision either, so that allowed him to get picked a lot as well. So, yeah, that was just something, like, that all honestly could have been prevented had we just had a lot more prep done. So it definitely didn't allow him to have a chance to shine. He was doomed from the start, to say the least, which is unlucky.
So the first game, it seemed like almost like there was a lot of tilt, if you want to call it that, because like if you look at like Noided, he definitely tried diving that Nautilus early.
Yeah, and then died.
And died, and actually looking at the second game too, when you start looking at that, it seemed like at the beginning very shaky, and then Noided actually came back. But the first game, what were you guys doing? Like, was there a lot of tilting? Were you guys not talking? Were you guys just upset? What did you guys do to get through that? Because that game was.
You could probably see me too. Like at one point when we were down double inhibs, I was just spamming taunt in the base, not trying to defend because I knew the game was over. So I was trying to talk with the team and just say like, hey, we'd actually had an exact scenario of what happened in this game happen in one of our 2 scrim games, where we just had a really bad pick ban phase and then we didn't play to our win conditions. So I was kind of trying to refer back to that. And with having Splash muted and then the bot lane, everyone, including myself, wasn't having a good game, so we didn't want to start off that way. So, we were kind of demoralized. It was just Noided and I talking to each other for like the last 5 minutes of that game, trying to move on and talk about next pick ban phase. So that was, hopefully that never happens again, but that was one of the most silent like group calls I've ever been a part of during a game. So yeah, there was quite a bit of tilt going. And then into game 2, we were just like, I guess we're just gonna play straight up comfort picks, which was where a lot of flame happened as well, because we can go into that.
Okay, so let's talk about your jump. I want to talk about your jungle pool first before we move on, because everyone says you are one trick Nidalee main, and then there's the fucking weird Zach, and then there was the Evelyn. So this is your moment to actually maybe squash that, or maybe you want people to think you're a one.
Yeah, no, it's good. You can call me one trick all you want. No, I've played probably everything there is to play, and then I just found my niche picks. Like season 3, I picked up Evelyn, and I rode her all the way to D1, and I've just always loved Eve, and like it's one of those champions where you play it and you fall in love with it and you'll play it no matter what. Like I see Captain Flowers, he'll play Skarner no matter what, even though he might not be, T1 or even T2 jungler. You just understand the champion so well that you can play it at a high level no matter how, meta he or she is. So I just said, game 2, we have nothing to lose. I'm just going to play a jungler who I've played for 3 seasons now. So I went to Evelyn, even though it probably didn't make a whole lot of sense in the team comp. But yeah, sometimes you just have to go back to your loved champions and whatnot.
Okay, so I guess that's what we get into for game 2 then.
Yeah.
So the vanquished bans were Nidalee, Lulu, Kog'Maw. The IG bans were TF, Nautilus, Gragas. Why'd you guys ban those out, by the way? Like, what did you know about Vanquish that...
Can you say the 3 bans again? I heard Nautilus and...
Yeah, Twisted Fate, Nautilus, and Gragas.
Okay, so we banned Twisted Fate. I think we banned them every single game. We just didn't want to deal with it, and we knew their mid laner played it, so... If you're a new team, you definitely don't want to fall behind, because what happened in game 1, you'll fall behind and you'll get disheartened and lose comms. So Twisted Fate's really, really good at getting those early snowballs going. So we just said ban him every game. Then we banned Nautilus just because Noided, we wanted him to be able to pop off and really carry a game. And Nautilus, back on that old patch, was just a rock solid pick. He could play against anything and not have to worry. So ban that. And then Gragas, that Gragas just honestly tilted us so much game 1 that we just wanted to ban it. So we took it away.
Okay, so then that gets into the picks. Vanquished picks Alistar first rotation. You guys picked Braum and Callista your first rotation. Their second rotation, they picked Zac Caitlyn, picking up that Zac that you previously had taken away from them. Then your second rotation, you picked Zed Evelyn. And their last rotation, they picked Vlad Gangplank. And then your last rotation was Mundo. So what do you guys think about the pick ban phase here?
Well, I guess I'll just give my 2 cents. They honestly had a really, really good team comp, but we had a lot of backline threat. So we kind of split their comp in half during the team fights where, like I said earlier, I know Evelyn like the back of my hand. And even though they had sufficient vision for the most part of that game, I would say. I just know how to get flanks off. And if you always have that constant threat of Evelyn flanking, and the more it became successful, you're like more and more scared of it, then your comms start to break up in team fights, and you have Zed and Evelyn diving the Caitlyn every single fight. So they kind of split up where they'd have Alistar in the front line, and then we'd kill their back line, and he'd try and peel for her, and then it leaves Gangplank and Vladimir open. So they honestly, I think they'd have the advantage in the comps, but we just played ours a little bit better.
Okay, so I don't know if I agree with that, because you guys were definitely down a shit.
No, yeah, no doubt.
But like, I feel like that was a throw. I feel like they threw, or they didn't know how to close out games.
Okay, I'd say a little bit of both, because we got to the point where, even though like I wasn't getting a lot of ganks off compared to Zac, like Don't Shoot Me put in some work early game and ended up I think he camped ball lane for a majority of that game. So Callista wasn't in the game for the majority of that. But I was farming up, and I knew once I hit the 2-item power spike where I got Runic Echoes as well as Crystal Scepter, I could just stick on the Caitlyn for the rest of the game. So I wasn't really worried, even though we were behind. And they weren't really pressing their advantage because they didn't have... I don't think they had the best siege comp, so they kind of just couldn't get a whole bunch off of their early advantage. And once we hit that point where Zed and I had crazy dive potential, I think we just started coming back and we kind of tilted them with the flanks.
I feel like that Mundo is what carried your game. If only Noided, you get
Noided went off.
VIP for carrying the shit out of that game.
I mean, he did have that fail 1v2. I don't know why. I'd say that's probably the worst thing I did that game. I sat top for probably 30 to 45 seconds because I was just like, I've played with Noided for the past couple of months. If I can get him ahead, I know he can carry. But ganking a Gangplank as Evelyn and Mundo, I wasted so much time. And then he accidentally took a third shot and died. I was just like, I literally face-palmed in real life. That was so bad. But luckily that didn't come back to bite us in the butt.
Yeah. So. Okay, so this is where we get to
Noided did the carry train here.
right. So,
Okay.
what were comms like during that game? Because you mentioned the one before, your comms were not good.
Comes that game, we focused a lot more on vision control, where we wanted to focus, 1 or 2 minutes down the line of where we wanted to play, where I wanted to flank from. So it was kind of bad, like the first 5 minutes, because I felt really, really useless as of when I didn't get any ganks off. Vladimir's pretty hard to gank, and then obviously top lane just wasn't that great of a matchup. So I think my early game was actually pretty bad as far as pressure.
Mhm.
And Zach had every gank of Zach's was successful. He either blew a summoner spell or got a kill. So we were kind of hoping it wouldn't go down like game one, but then we just finally started saying, hey, we got to get to this certain point, and once we hit that point, which in my case was the 2-atom spike, then we can start working our way slowly back into the game, and that's what we did. So they were a lot better that game than the first game.
Okay. So comms were better that game. What do you think about your teammates on IG?
A bunch of memers, man. Our
Oh.
comms, they're super trolly. Game 3 was just NA clan fiesta. They like to have fun, which I actually enjoy. It's
And that was the best game, game 3. So
Yeah.
your best game anyway.
It's a breath of fresh air. I'm all down for super great comms with being super serious about getting the W and whatnot. And this is just the complete opposite of what I'm used to. So it's kind of fun for me. But obviously they're still trying. They're not purposely throwing, but they all just crack jokes or just scream whenever they get a kill at the top of their lungs. It's pretty funny to play on. So I'm enjoying it.
Okay. What do you think about their skill, versus other people in Premier League or?
Honestly, in skill, I've been on the team for a week now, so I can't rate them too highly, or compare them. Sorry, not rate them. But yeah, they all suck. Merc is he is a god on certain champions. I'm not gonna say who, but it's probably pretty obvious to some. I could say he's probably top 3 in AD carries that I've personally played with or against in both minor and premier. Splash, he's got the funkiest champion pool, but every champion pool in his pool he plays the best. His Zillion is god tier, and then I won't say a couple of other champions, but he is really good at what he does. I'm not sure how he plays with more traditional or more meta stuff, but his mechanics are really, really strong on those certain champions. And then Prez, I've only seen him play 3 champions out of the 10 games that I've played, because I've played some solo queue with Prez.
Uh-huh.
So I could say the champions that we win games with, he's very, very strong at.
Okay.
That's
So-
all I'll say.
Okay. So are you gonna stick with your with this team for next season, or is this just for the season, then you see where it goes?
Absolutely
Are you a
do it.
ringer?
Yeah, I'm just a ringer right now, so
Okay.
I don't know if they'll actually. I don't know if I can say that. So
Say what?
There's a little. We'll wait for Prez. Maybe I'll whisper Prez real quick, but I can't.
Oh,
go.
come on, Gordon. You can't do that. You can't just let out this stuff.
that's the thing the high school girls do. Come on.
Come on,
Be
you
like,
gotta let it
"Oh,
out now."
I think this is Prez's last season because he wants to focus on other parts of the community. I think he actually wants to do some of the potential content for the community, but he is going to be, I believe, stepping down from a player. So we already broke the curse for him of, I believe IG just lost every single playoff game in the past. So we've broken that. He really wants to go out on a win. So I don't know the end goal of the team or what's going to happen at the end. So at the moment, I'm just going week by week, and then whatever happens, happens. But I mean, obviously, you're trying to poach me for a Swiss team, so that's a potential as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So. Yep. So I was trying to get the auto lock of, you know what, I'm not gonna be playing with them next season, but.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't know what's for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna bribe you now. Our book
Yeah.
club isn't good enough, Gordon.
No, we gotta start it, man. We haven't even started it.
You should go grab your book real fast. I feel like we need to show Twitch chat this.
Even if you want.
Yeah, go grab the book. And then we'll talk about game 3.
Okay. You and Thrifty can just have a one-on-one.
So, this is happening because we both have a book club, and I actually have my book with me.
This is really interesting, everyone.
I don't care. So, because Gordon is wearing a chef's coat, so I feel like, to some regards, we need to show this book club. And if anyone else wants to join it, because me and Gordon both really like to cook.
I'll find something cool.
So, Swifty, if you want to get... Oh, Swifty's not going to grab it. Wow, I'm all left alone. I'm all alone. So... But yeah, if anyone else would like to join it, you're more than welcome to talk to me. Me and Gordon were actually talking about doing some, like, streamed cooking shows, maybe. Because we both enjoy cooking a lot. So...
Oh, well, we just had a little intermission there. Okay.
Right now. So, Swifty... Okay, you ready?
Yeah. We have... shit, it's back with me. The Food Lab by J. Kenji Lopez. Oh. Are we gonna tell the story, I guess?
No. Yeah, you can tell it. You go tell. I kind of told it, but you can tell it.
Okay. Well, we were just randomly talking about food one day because obviously I enjoy food, being the name Gordan Ramsey, and Raceland was like, I got a cookbook I need to read as well. And I was like, yeah, I have a pretty big ass cookbook too that I got for Christmas. And he's like, I got a cookbook for Christmas and it's pretty big. What is it? And we got our books and we were like, holy shit. We got the same book for Christmas together. We're actually gonna start a book club and read it together and be
done. So I feel like if anyone else wants to join the book club, you're more than welcome to.
Expect some cooking videos out of Raceland and I.
Oh, God.
So yeah, that's for real. Swifty, what do you have?
Guys, I got this sick-ass Leona sword I made out of popsicle sticks.
Did you make that?
Yeah.
Who the fuck takes the time to glue together popsicle sticks?
It wasn't like at my house. I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. Let me make a sword out of popsicle sticks. Nah, I was just bored as shit in art, and I didn't have anything to do. And then I got bullied by my classmates for making a League of Legends thing out of popsicle sticks. But it was worth it because now it's sick and I can hit things with it. I don't have any gay books, so I have to get stuff like that.
Missing out. There's some good food in there. So, moving on to game 3. Okay. This was obviously a very, very good game for IG. If anything, if you were going to watch the IG that I want to see show up, what is it, next week or is it the week after?
It's this week.
Is it this week? This week? This is the game to watch, okay? So, IG bans were, again, Twisted Fate, Nautilus, and then they banned Braum. Vanquished bans were Nidalee, Dr. Mundo, and Kog'Maw, because they obviously didn't want to deal with Gordon's one trick or Noidid's Mundo, and then just Kog'Maw at the time.
They banned that every game. Yeah.
Yep. So, IG's first pick was Alistar. Vanquished first rotation was Lulu Kalista. Second rotation for IG was Zach Lucian, taking up that second trick, Gordan Ramsey Zach. The second rotation of Vanquished was Trundle Gragas. The third rotation for IG was Zillion Fiora. And the last rotation for Vanquished was Lux. So, this was kind of a stompy game when you watch it. But it's actually very good, and you guys snowballed really well. So what was going on with picks and bans there?
I think we finally... throughout the progression of the series, I think we finally learned, our playstyle, or we finally went back to what we know works, and I think we had one of the best, if not our best... No, I could definitely say it. That was our best pick ban compared to the other two, because we kind of fixed what didn't work in the first game pick ban, and then meshed it well with a lot of better picks. So we banned the Braum, because we knew their support and Prez pretty much play Alistar and Braum. I think they were both in every game except the game he played Morgana. And so we knew they'd ban Nidalee, and we knew that they would ban Kog'Maw because they banned it 2 times in a row, which was kind of weird to us. And then they ended up banning Mundo. So I think, did you say we third banned Braum?
Yeah.
Okay, so we third banned Braum.
Yeah.
We were waiting to see what they would ban. And then they ended up banning Mundo, so we got to first pick the Alistar, take it away, and put it on Prez. And Prez is really, really good at Alistar. And then we purposely didn't ban Gragas that game, just on the odd chance that they took Zac, but they didn't. So, like I said earlier, we prefer Zac over Gragas just because it was more comfort for us. So we knew I'd be able to get at least Gragas or Zac, so we got Zac as well. So we had crazy dive potential, and then we decided to just give them a taste of their own medicine and camp the crap out of bot lane. And we got Merc so far ahead that game that we just pretty much rotated around the map and took objectives everywhere. So
And then a zillion did what a zillion's supposed to do
yeah,
when the
and
80 carries.
Splash plays Zillion, yeah.
Yeah.
So it made sense to snowball the hyper carry 80 carry we had. So Zach Alistair really easy at diving, and we did exactly that.
So, Swifty, what do you think about this game? Big man face.
It was some serious quality here. I like the. I mean, I like everything about it. You know, I was cheering for IG just since I like them, and when I saw them get Lucian, Merc's like really good Lucian player,
He's a god.
and I just knew Lucian and Zillion, and I know Splash is like an insane Zillion player too. Like he was playing Zillion way back before he was actually good in House Party and like in general. And Splash on Zillion and Merc on Lucian, it's really hard to lose the game, to be honest. So they just gave them those two comfort picks, and Vanquish didn't perform on their first rotation as I would have really liked, because if you get Lulu and Callista and you don't get ahead on either of them, it's kind of hard to play. So, but they did get. It was kind of weird. Like again, they IG picked the Zac away from Don't Shoot Me, who's even more of a one trick than Gordan is. But then they got the Gragas late. When I mean, I know that Zac's like really good comfort pick for you guys, but I still think that Gragas is just so much better in like every aspect. So you could have picked that. But I mean, other than that, you guys still won with your comp, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, both junglers weren't fans in the Twitch chats, but as far as why we're playing jungle, that's hard to shoot me after that.
Prez actually has a bunch of. I think he's making a video. It should be up later this week. He was talking to me about it. About he's gonna be addressing the BM in the community, and he has a bunch of screenshots of Twitch chat, and there's some interesting ones. So I'm really looking forward to stirring up some more drama here.
All right,
Yeah. I guess that's about it for the Premier League.
Oh, who do you think's gonna win between to IG and Are you guys playing?
Never Clucky. Never Clucky's actually using 2 subs this week, so I think IG will take it.
Didn't know that. All right.
You're welcome. Shouldn't you be prepping for your?
Well, how am I supposed to know if they're using a sub or not? Did they?
Well, I don't know. I just figured out that today.
Isn't roster locked?
No, Friday I think is when the roster locks.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be why.
I'm not the captain of this team. I don't know stuff like that. But I actually played Never Clucky way back when they were in minor league, because I had a team as well, YouTubers R Us, when we qualified in the Swiss League, and we were actually supposed to play them in the semifinals, I believe, and they ended up advancing because we had to forfeit to play White Lightning in the finals as well. So that is a grudge match that I've been waiting to play for a whole season now, because we had to forfeit, and there was a bunch of smack talk between the teams, but our mid laner couldn't make it because he was actually trying out for LCS teams at the time, because we brought on David, or Insanity Triple X, who's like several hundred challenger points, and I can't blame him. I would rather him try out for an LCS team than play in a minor league semifinal game. So it was kind of unlucky we had to surrender, but this weekend is going to be pretty hype. So I think it'll be a close game, but I definitely think we are a lot better as a team now, and hopefully Slash will be able to talk, so we'll have 5 people talking. So I think that'll be a big plus to our chances at taking them down. And they haven't played in Never Clucky's never on. They don't play, from my knowledge, so I don't think they've played in a wicked long time. So I think we're going into it pretty prepared. So I'm feeling pretty good. But I still think this will be another 2-1 series as well.
Cool. So who do you think is going to win, Swifty? IG or?
I think IG will win 2-1. Due to the substitutions of Never Clucky.
Yeah, I think that sub is going to really hurt. I'll go with that. I will say that I managed to correctly guess who would win between IG. So I did not count on that, though, after I saw one of those scrims. So, won't lie, I almost went back on what I said. In fact, I did not. I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to look silly because I saw some of those scrims, and I was like, they are fucked. And then you guys showed up. So, you guys made me look good. So, thank you. Show up next week. So I will actually pick you to win next week. And now you have to show up. So Okay, so moving on to minor league, we're not going to talk really long about minor league because, frankly, I just didn't think they were very good quality games. We do want to talk about the standings because we have a very interesting three-way tie. Um, and part of that is going to be really interesting because I think that there's potential that one of those teams might be gone. So, obviously, Syndicate's taking the lead going in to playoffs. Blue McFreeze is going to take second, and then we have a three-way tie between Team Dot, Wawa, Purple Pirates.
Yep.
So it's very interesting because they haven't done the games yet.
Yeah, they haven't played
Which
the
is
tiebreakers.
weird because there's playoffs in, what, 4 days for them?
Yeah, the games are going to be played tomorrow, so that's what I
Yeah.
heard from my sources.
So what I know about Team Dot is that I know that one of their players is looking for a team. At least he has it posted.
They were also looking for an 80 carry from what I heard of, and if the support player's gone too, don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, so if that happens, then I think Team Dot actually
Would they
just
forfeit?
yeah, they would just forfeit.
And
They would
then
end
Elysium qualify?
I don't know. I think the Elysium team, none of us have played all week, so.
Or would they
kind
just
of-
say whoever was playing them gets a free bye in the playoffs?
Yeah, probably.
That's kind of not fair. I think Elysium should take the spot. If
I know. At that time I did, but and then I guess now it's kind of a bit late for that.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's not confirmed yet.
Ooh, I guess they do have a team. Word is coming in from my sources that I guess Team Dot mostly has a team now. It's Zark, Clarizio, Sensei, Harper, and I don't know who the last person is.
How does that even work? Like,
That is something that seems a little bullshit.
It's really stupid because I got a couple offers from teams to like play in the playoffs, and for this like weird roster change that was going on, been playing for a team,
Yeah.
and and Wyndon messaged me and says, "Oh, you can't be on a team because your team's already used both his drops or both your kicks, and you can't get on a team obviously since." If you leave a team, you can't join a team for the rest of the season.
But technically,
And
your
then-
season's over.
Yeah, so I was like, but our team's out, so I'm not really sure how these players that have played and weren't dropped are getting.
Oh,
on a team.
I think Harper might actually be dropped because I'm pretty sure that.
What was he dropped? I don't know. And then-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Like, so I'm pretty sure Spooky Midnight had one left, and I'm
And
pretty
then-
sure if they did
what
use it, then
about
if they-
Zark played on like what 3 teams this year or something like that. I don't know. I know he played for Wawa, and then he also played at the start for a team. I don't know.
Now, I don't think you should be able to play a playoff and then switch leagues just because you get kicked out. Like, I won't lie, that's a little fucking weird, and I don't really think that should be allowed. I think you should, if you get knocked out of if you can't play in a playoff at all, then yeah, maybe your team's pretty much done. Especially some of those low-standing teams like TDRK or what was the other one that was they were talking like Soul 7's gone. I mean, who else is gone? One of the other
Never Lucky or
No,
Lucker Dogs.
Lucker Dogs is gone, so I mean, so maybe like, if like one of those ones who didn't even get a chance to play in playoffs.
Well,
but
I guess Lucker Dogs got DQ'd though.
Yeah,
the
they're-
other two are just out.
Yeah.
that's-
But I mean, like if you couldn't play in playoffs, then it makes total sense. Okay, well maybe they're gonna switch teams but I don't know. It still seems a little weird that you would wait till playoffs and you're like, okay, well they didn't make playoffs, so let's grab this better 80 carry
yeah.
from a different team in order to. But so okay, if that's the case, then you still have this three-way tie, but the tie hasn't played out yet. But either way, all of these teams go into playoffs, no matter what. So right now, playoffs are going to be Syndicate, BMF, Team Dot, Wawa, Purple Pirates, and then Spooky Crime Time.
Yeah.
How does I'm not sure the how the playoffs seeding works because it could be interesting.
Here,
So-
I'll post it in chat too.
So the seeding is actually very, very interesting because depending on if you win or lose, you verse against Syndicate. So there has been, from what I heard, some rumors about people trying to drop games in order to not play against Syndicate. Now these are just rumors, obviously.
Obviously, that's what you want to do, but you can't sandbagging.
Oh,
or, like,
and
purposely.
I've
Isn't
heard
allowed,
I've
but,
heard
I
some
mean-
rumors of people that were talking about sandbagging. So, but I would
if we were in that situation, we'd obviously not play our best, but we're not going to pick like Team 080 carry and stuff. We're going to play. I would really like to watch a stream game of two teams that are trying to lose, but trying not to make it obvious.
No,
'cause that
you'd be able to tell.
would be hell. Yeah, but I mean, you would want to be trying to make it not
Are you
obvious,
sure you
so-
could be able to tell? Some of these team games have been like
Yeah, quality.
quality. So we're not going to talk about the games because I don't want to. So right now, the way that the percentage works of wins though is
Oh,
you have
Apricot, hold on. Apricot says that the bracket switched. Only the winner of the tiebreaker will get out of the group with Syndicate.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good way to stop that issue.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, force them to play the games to avoid Syndicate. Good job, whoever set that up. So, fucking.
That takes away everything we just said then.
Yep, that solves that issue. Good luck.
All right, guys, never mind.
Yep, so that's good to know.
And
So
I would say the old Team Dot, I think they would win out of those three teams. But now that they have those swaps,
I
I
don't
actually
know.
think Purple Pirates might come out ahead.
Yeah, I think Purple
Yeah.
Pirates strongest.
Yep.
Wawa's been having a bunch of issues, and they just got two new. They got a
Yep.
80 carry sub and a jungle sub, I think. So that's
Wait,
not
is
very good.
Posen not playing anymore?
No,
I'm
he
not
dropped-
sure. Yeah, I think
I
he
believe
dropped
he
out.
dropped that because he made a post. I think,
Yeah.
unless he's just decided to stick through the playoffs. I think
I know they have subs though. I
he
think.
played really well this past week.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. He just was talking about how he didn't want to play in the playoffs anymore or something like that. I don't know, personal things, but whatever. I think that Purple Pirates is the strongest out of those, and then Team Dot, and then Wawa, just since they're new swaps and everything, and then yeah.
Okay. So looking at the way playoffs are gonna work, who's gonna take top three? Because that's really all that matters is top three. Like anything else, that sucks. And top two is really what you want now that Lucker Dogs are DQ'd out. So that means there'll be 2 free buy-ins, right?
Yeah, it should be like that.
I'm pretty sure that's the way it is, but don't quote me on that. But
Yeah.
if there's 2 free buy-ins, then that means you want slot 1 or 2, right? Because slot 3 means you still have to play.
You have to fight for it. Yeah.
Yep.
I think BMF and Syndicate are top two without a doubt in my mind. I think the underdogs here are actually Spooky Crime Time and Purple Pirates. Both have played arguably very, very well the past couple of weeks, and I think they can upset. And Spooky Crime Time has actually already upset BMF. They're one of the few teams to actually beat them this season, and they upset Syndicate as well in a thrilling upset. So they're the only team to beat both first and second place.
We beat Blue Moon Freeze actually.
Blue Moon-
Yeah, no, I said first and second team. They beat
I know,
number
I
1
know.
and 2.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it'll be. I think SCT and PP are the two to watch for like dark horse games.
So. Okay, awesome. Well, let's open it.
Swifty didn't say anything.
Oh, Swifty, what do you?
I was talking about calculus in chat. All right, what'd you say? Because I'll argue with you.
Who do you think's gonna take the top 3?
Top 3. Let me check the thing here. Syndicate. All right, Syndicate. I was itching my head and my headset fell. Syndicate will definitely take 1 probs, and by that I mean for sure. Then I think Blue Milk Freeze and Purple Pirates will win. I think those 3 will go to the Premier League.
I'll agree with that.
For now.
Do we think Purple Pirates will advance to the
Ooh.
Premier League?
Who?
Their
They'll
first
have to
thing-
play- did they play TDRK?
Yeah.
Yeah, since the first 2 automatically get up. Yeah, I don't even know if TDRK has like a roster right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that'll be actually if Purple Pirates stays the same, they could have a very good
I
shot
think
at
they're
winning.
strong. I don't think they're staying the same though. Apricot was
Yeah.
talking about they're switching around their roster a bit, and that's good because their current roster, Apricot and his 2 solo laners are really good, but their bot lane was not good at all. And I take great pride in me and my support solo killing them like 3 times in lane and then still losing. So that's how solo queue goes, and apparently team games. But anyway, yeah, I think their roster is pretty strong right now, and they're gonna just make it stronger, and they should probably get in the Premier League.
So, I guess we can just open it up for Twitch questions. All right. Twitch, ask
Yeah.
your questions.
Twitch questions.
It's actually
go.
kind of hard to say.
No, it's not. Naz has been memeing in chat this whole time. Oh, Jiggity Jam, the BM guy, the Blue Milk Freeze guy coming in. Oh, Captain Flowers with the question.
Okay,
favorite food.
Yeah, he asked for my favorite food. I'd probably say. Okay, I actually have a list, but my favorite
If you
dish.
say meatloaf, I'm actually dropping from this call right now.
It's good, but it's not my favorite. Favorite recipe is chicken katsu curry, actually, and I could send you the recipe later. Very good. And then just favorite foods, we got Brussels sprouts on there, rice.
Oh my
bread,
god, Brussels
cheesecake,
sprouts. Oh,
and curry.
Brussels sprouts are so good if you cook them in butter and white vinegar, just with some salt.
Or roasted, dude.
That's
Easy
good
peasy.
too. So, Swifty, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is definitely State Fair corn dogs. Like, not the frozen ones, but when you
Solid.
go to Iowa State Fair and get corn dogs. I think I ate, when we went to the Iowa State Fair last year, I ate 7. That was my thing before my stomach started hurting. So, and before I ran out of money.
So my favorite food is actually beef Wellington. Like, by far,
Nice.
beef Wellington is my favorite. My second favorite is fucking pizza. I can eat pizza every.
Oh, I love pizza. I just had pizza, actually.
There was one time where I spent like $200 on pizza and ate pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a fucking week. This is why I gained so much weight. So I have actually lost a lot now, but yeah. So someone asked me a question, and it was actually titled to me. I don't get very many questions.
All right, go back.
I think it was best runes for mid lane. So best runes for mid lane, in my personal opinion, I really like CDR. So obviously I'm going to talk about APs just because it's easier. ADs are pretty standard, but for APs you do Magic Pen, reds, HP scaling, yellows most of the time. Blues, I like a really weird so if you're going to do CDR, you should go 10% CDR. You should not go over 10%. You can go under if you want to do all flat. But otherwise, I think the best CDR combination is actually 6 flat CDR blues and then 3 scaling, which gives you 10%. And it also gives you a better CDR start level 1. And then your quints should be probably AP quints or movement speed quints or some other thing, but probably AP or movement speed on select ones. So.
Yes, quality stuff I don't have any idea about. See this one. I kind of want to address this one. What are your thoughts on people thinking that Solo League is dying fast? I think it was like this
Solo queue.
Solo queue or like the Solo League, I think.
Like yeah, Dynamic League being released killed it, I think.
Oh, so people are just playing 5s together and doing ranked rather than...
It had its like huge spree of like hype because it was a new season and whatnot, but then Riot released Dynamic and everybody wanted to play that. So that's where when that came out, I don't think I've played a single Solo League game afterwards. But I don't think it's dying. I just think
no, they have once every so often. But and then also just because I think I know before Dynamic Q came out, it like all just kind of started dying when the Premier League just started up again. Like usually in the off season, everyone plays it. Like back in the off season last season, we had like 3 or so going on every night, but now everyone's practicing and scrimming and stuff. So, that's how it is. I'm sure they'll get more once off season comes back up. Let's see what else is there. How do you think Kalanoth will stack up against Premier League AD carries? I kind of like. I've talked to some people about this, but I think like Naz's great voice crack. I think Naz's greatest strength as an AD carry is his like in-game knowledge and shot calling, which me and him have talked, or I don't know, me and some people have talked about that. It kind of hinders like being the best AD carry you can be, although he's still a really good AD carry. But I think he definitely knows the most about the game, about any AD carry in the Premier League, and maybe even any player, I'd probably venture to say. But I don't think his mechanical skills. Shut the fuck up, player. I'm banning this guy. Screw this guy. But I don't think his mechanics are as good as the other AD carries. But putting both of those together, I'd probably say he's one of the best.
I'd have to disagree. I don't know about you, Gordon, because me and Gordon both have obviously been on a team. We've seen.
Well, I mean, I've laid against him a couple
Yeah.
times, and he never horizons me or anything. Like I'm always up there, even with CS.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the last game you guys played against each other, he horizoned you.
If I recall, the score of the game was like 25-2, and we surrendered at like 23 minutes or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that counts as So,
I don't think it does.
I think
if I recall, it's like in laning phase.
so. I know he got kills on your lane phase, but
He
anyways.
didn't. He didn't kill us.
So, anyways, I think that the Naz now is a lot different than the Naz at the beginning of the season, based on the new additions to the team.
Because yeah, their team dynamic's different now.
Way different. So the team dynamic that you guys knew before of like Naz just being the solo person doing all the shot calling doesn't really exist anymore, which is actually really really healthy because it lets him focus on his mechanics, which is really really good. So.
And I'm not there to BM him, so that's a plus.
Right. So. Okay, more Twitch questions.
I think there was a really good question. I think it was just talking about the community though. I think someone just said, "Why is the community so mean?" or something like that. Oh yeah, it was Quid Bro, but we kind of talked about that at the beginning. I don't think it's necessarily mean. It's just there's a whole lot of lack of constructive criticism.
So I think people need to understand the difference between criticism and just like I don't know, shit talking, I guess. So like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people who like they don't know how to like I guess criticize correctly, if there is a correct way, but like I don't know. I feel like it's just like I'm all for constructive criticism. Like tell me ways that I can change my show better. But a lot of times it's not like that. It's not like, oh well they should do this because this is better. It's more like fucking we're just gonna do this because they're wrong. So unless you can mathematically prove things, like I don't feel like you can talk like that.
Yeah.
So like if you can mathematically, so a good example is 15% CDR. No matter what you do, running 15% CDR either overcaps you or undercaps you. So it's not efficient to do it. So you shouldn't do it. So and that's just math. So.
Apricot says, "Oh yeah, what do you think about Team Doc getting Harper and Zark on the roster?" Like I just said, I just said you. I thought it was kind of dumb considering I wasn't allowed to be on a roster. But then again I don't know the circumstances. They might have still had a kick left, or whatever. But you know, such is life, I guess.
I don't follow them enough to really comment on it, and I don't think I know
Harper
enough
is
about-
mid. What?
Okay.
Okay.
I guess we'll just have
then,
to see how that pans out.
So I don't like I said, if I can utilize the criticism, I'm good with it. Otherwise, just I don't really give. I'm gonna fucking ignore you if you send me shit like that or you write shit about that. So like it's not worth my time. But Harper being mid is very very interesting. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
There was a question for Swifty by
It
JD.
was something about it was racing and asking if he's memeing me. I already responded to him.
No, someone asked if you're making a new team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Okay.
No, I said probably.
Gotcha. ZZ Rot in mid lane, good or bad? I think the only person who shouldn't viably buy that is an AD carry. You can get away with 4, as seen by Alex each carrying another team into a potential LCS spot.
Yeah.
Because I believe he had ZZ Rot Portal on mid Nautilus.
Yeah.
But that
I played with a couple mid Scions recently that have rushed it, actually.
I hate that item. It tilts me so much. It's too strong. And there's very little counterplay to it.
Mhm.
Killing the minions, that's counterplay. I
Yeah.
played against
It keeps you in the lane
Scion
forever.
mid,
Like-
but not top, and then a jungler, and they all 3 rushed it, and all 3 put it in mid lane. We could kill the minions faster than
Dude,
they were.
I
just
won't
went-
lie. Like I've been doing some theory crafting about rushing ZZ Rot and seeing who it would be good on, and it looks very interesting, especially if you can rush like multiple ones and put it in certain lanes and just kind of like shit on the lane. Or if you have someone who pushes hard and you can put a ZZ Rot, you can take the mid tower like super fast. So, but obviously it doesn't work on everyone, and it's not always a good first item. So, But I think they need to get rid of that fucking item.
Yeah, I think it's getting nerfed, but I don't know how
They
nerfed
buff it or something? Like, I'm kind of unsure why everyone has started building it recently.
Just realized how good it was.
Yeah, I think it was a little slight nerf to other items, and then just that being already a relevant pick, just nobody really knew how to utilize on it. But it applies so much free pressure that.
Or did they buff it?
Strong. They might have buffed it a little, I think.
10 armor and MR.
Yeah.
It's like GA, kind of. Everyone used to buy that item, and now they don't.
Season 3, baby.
It's like this gets the same stats, yeah. Who are currently the best available House Party 5v5 member who could potentially for a good minor league team for next season that are not the old White Lightning.
I have a hard time even answering that because I don't do
Hard
in-house.
to like. Well, I mean, I know people, but it's hard to like think of everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
Here, let me just scroll through TeamSpeak.
How much would you sell a Premier League spot for?
I mean, I
There's
feel.
a couple teams who would.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that should be allowed. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I mean, if it be in like the off season, not like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Also, something kind of interesting that was going on recently was there's a guy that was trying another takeover of a team, or at least to sub out all the players and get a whole new team, basically. And the admins told him that he probably wouldn't be allowed to do that, so don't even try it. And then we were just talking about it, and he's saying, we were telling him, why don't you just swap out a different member each day? And we were just kind of saying that wasn't against the rules, but then the admin said that he wasn't allowed to do it. So it's kind of, I feel like this is kind of off subject, but either the rules on changing people need to kind of be changed for next season, or
Refined, yeah.
something like that, because there's like 3 team takeovers, at least in the minor league, of getting an entirely new roster halfway through the season with no like repercussions at all.
I feel like minor league, that's not that big of a deal. I'm okay with the Premier League. I have a little bit bigger deal with, but I do think that in off season you should be able to. I don't know if there's.
But yeah, in off season, it doesn't matter at all. But
Yeah.
that was in the middle of the season. Like Purple
So-
Pirates, their team was like, yeah, I think we're kind of done or something like that. And then all of a sudden, Apricot gets his team, and they're now a new team without qualifying for doing anything, which could have gone to another team or something like that. So
What would
I
be
don't know.
cool is if they kept the scores for Swiss League, and they gave it to the next one down. So if like someone disbands, they automatically ask the next person
To
and
play,
be like,
yeah.
and be like, hey, do you guys want to take their spot because you were next in the Swiss who would have gotten
and
it?
that gets rid of all the FFs as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
So
All right, I have a question. How do you think you could provide more hype and attention to the community? Because you never asked that or answered that. But I think one thing that I like about some other communities is, like, for Smash, for example, you can money match people. I think it would be hype if, like, during the week, since in-houses aren't a thing anymore, if just random teams talk a bunch of smack and they just throw down money and play each other and it gets casted and whatnot. Or just more...
Or skins or something, yeah.
Yeah, just like weight or something. And, you know, if someone thinks they're better than something, just straight up say take it to the Rift instead of just all this random useless bants that's everyone's been memeing on. But I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know how they could implement that, but $50 RP card.
well, that brings up another thing is like, okay, so they do Premier and minor leagues on weekends, right? Now, the problem with this is that it competes with LCS every weekend. So how do you get people to watch the minor and Premier leagues without competing with LCS?
I haven't watched a single LCS game. I'd rather watch House Party games because NA LCS is a joke to me.
I watched like Cloud9 games just because I like them.
Yeah, I'll watch like maybe a hype matchup like TSM CLG or something like that, but like
So
LCS to me is a joke at the moment. I'd rather watch House
Yeah.
Party because I can relate to it more.
yeah, I agree, but I don't really. But so, do you guys not think that it's not an issue then?
I think it is for a lot of people I'll be talking to like in House Party, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, no, I'm watching the LCS right now. Screw that. I'll just watch the VODs later or something.
I think it's comes down to the involvement of the player, like if they're actually on a team or whatnot. Because
Yeah.
when I was on minor league, even though I wasn't playing, like I was a sub, I'd watch every game just to have something to talk about with the team or kind of strategize. So I think it just comes down to involvement. So maybe they need to find something to attract people who aren't actually in the leagues, which obviously they'd have to find a way to do that. But
Raffle skins off or something. I don't know. I really don't know how they could incentivize people. Well, you get a lot of viewers though. Like in the Premier and Minor League, they usually average around like 80 or 90 viewers,
Yeah.
which is a lot compared to like 0.
I forgot a point. The reason why I thought of the money match from the beginning is if House Party like hosted the match and streamed it, they could take like 5 or 10% of the actual money match. That way they have like some sort of income to where they could physically maybe do stuff like that, where they'll take that income and raffle off like a random skin or something during the Premier League games or something like that. So I think if they could find ways to reasonably actually have some income, because everything they do is, volunteer and whatnot, or just
it gives a lot of money.
Yeah, but I think that could be increased too. I think they should increase that, because $5 a team is really, really cheap to me. But or stuff like the Lee Sin tournament, 1v1 tournament. I think I just entered the community at that point, and I didn't think it was going to be that fun. But then once I had teammates playing in it as well,
everyone was all like,
I was following how they were doing, competing with my own teammates and seeing who would do better. I actually really enjoyed that. So I think if they do more stuff like that and incentivize it.
An idea I had was I posted on the subreddit about it, and for some reason everyone shot it down. But I just kind of wanted to bring it up again about that, like, I guess the mid-season, invitational for House Party, where you take the top 4 minor league teams and face the top 4 Premier League teams, or just like talk about, or it doesn't even have to be a set number of teams, just whatever teams want to play in it from the minor and Premier League team, and then Premier League leagues, and then have it just like played over a weekend instead of the stream or the regular games. I think it'll lead to a big increase in view count, because you have players from both leagues watching, and then other players that'll be watching, and then it's just kind of like a break. And it's more exciting, to be honest, because you never, except for the relegation matches, you never get to see the teams play each other at all, other than like scrims and stuff.
That'd be really cool, but I think they would have to drag out the season a little bit and give a little bit more of a break in between the seasons, which I think would be fine too, because I think this in between seasons is a little short, and I think that'd be a cool way to make them last longer and get more hype up, and then you could have just those little breaks in between still, but the season would actually go longer. So I think we're all looking at Twitch chat.
I know.
It's just turned into Super Smash Bros. Stuff.
I see.
Yeah, some nice.
Okay, so does Twitch have any more questions, or do you have any more questions, Garden?
Nah, I think I'm good. I definitely think there's a lot of, I hate to use the word potential.
I hate that word.
There's a lot of potential for House Party to come up big again. Only we can make House Party great again.
Yeah, I wish I had time, to help out. I really do wish. I feel like if I had more time, that I could put a lot more research. And that's the one thing that I wish I did have more time of, is because then I think I would put more time helping them out with things. But I feel a little bad that I can't. I say all this stuff and then I can't help them because I just don't have time. So.
There's one question from JD. I think that's actually really good. I think
work sponsoring teams would be good for our league.
Teams have to get good, which I think this season was a big improvement. And I think next season we'll actually see probably the highest competition in Swiss League that there's ever been. So once I think...
I feel like, or just to interject there, I feel like this year was kind of an enigma for Swiss League, just because you had Naz getting in here for some reason. I don't know how he found out about the community, but he did, and he made a Swiss team. And then Naz has all these connections, and he was talking to people and got them in. There's a couple of Blue Milk teams, and then some other teams that were all coming because Naz, or people that knew Naz and channels through Naz, talked to all these teams, and there was a bunch of good teams coming in, as opposed to now. There's obviously, you have all the House Party people that are making teams, and then you have House Party people telling their friends that are making teams, but then you don't have all these good teams that are already organizations coming and finding out how to get in here, unless we go in and advertise it.
Yeah. So that can come more with advertising, but I think it would be a good thing, but we just have to allow outside sponsorships to have a reason to
I-
come in and
Right now, I
sponsor.
think with some of the sponsors, they don't really like. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty small stuff.
Yeah, so they're small. Like potential again, right? Like if the potential gets where maybe we get big organizations, but right now, I mean, I don't know. The small orgs don't really make that much of a difference. So I'm not.
All right, chat's saying I'm wrong, so whatever. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's where most of the good teams came from. So
I mean,
Jiggy damn salt that he
I
still
know,
lost to
maybe.
the worst team in minor league. So
that's
taking
true.
it out through chat.
I think sponsors, regardless, are just always good, but
Yeah.
we don't really have the means to get them
So
at the moment.
So I just right now I don't see sponsors bringing a lot for House Party.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future when we get bigger sponsors or something like that. But right now I don't think they're really offering anything, because I think all the teams that were already in the league ended up getting sponsorships. So it wasn't like they brought new players in. They picked up players who were already here, from what I know so far. So like Supernova and Blue Milk Freeze, didn't they pick up teams that were already in here? So, like, I don't see a lot of give back. I see a lot of, okay, well, we want to utilize these people as an advertising firm for free.
Yeah.
Put our name to get more people to us, but we're not really giving to the community. So it's not like they're bringing people in or donating money, really. So, I don't know.
Schwafto.
I don't know. That's what Captain always. That's what Flowers always tells me about. Captain Stevie with the supernova. She
Oh,
Should we advertise leagues on
yes.
social media?
Jesus
100%.
Christ,
Why
yes.
aren't we? Yeah.
Like, small
Social
things.
media. Yeah.
Like, you could get some, like, maybe an hour a week they'd have to spend doing advertising.
Like, I would retweet every single time if they would just tweet, like, hey, minor league, hey, Premier League is going live, because I'm physically there watching it, so people who follow me, like, I could go there and chat with them in the chat group, and then they'd be exposed, but there's just nothing for anyone to, post to their friends, be like, hey, this is going on, whatnot. You have to do it all yourself. So I think, and they've said they're working on that, but social media is number one thing that is good for exposure.
And I read my notes that and I feel like the biggest increase of House Party people is like just word of mouth. That's how I got my friends into it, and that's how I'm pretty sure everyone gets their people into it. Is just saying, "Hey, I found this cool league. Come play with us. Play some in-houses," and then they get on teams and stuff.
Didn't a lot of people come in through Reddit though?
Yeah,
that's where I did, and then I got my friends in that did see it on Reddit.
That's what I did.
So, that's basically. But Reddit's kind of fickle. Like we've posted stuff before, and maybe one time it gets upvoted a lot. One time it got banned for vote manipulation, and so did our admins. One time, and then the other times it's just been stuck at 0. So it's hard to actually get it to the front page reliably.
I mean, if someone wants to be a social media coordinator for us, go right ahead, because I am not taking that on. So.
I thought it was Christina. They said.
Is it Christina?
Yeah, that's what.
Well, he's doing a bad job.
I think he just took it on this week.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that looks better. So I know Christina really wants to give back to the community, and I have utmost respect for Christina. So.
Plus.
Yep.
You can get my Skype group on it. No, just kidding.
Okay. Do we have any more Twitch questions, or are we calling this?
I think Twitch is getting a bit out of control here.
Okay.
How about we make a post and then all House Party upload at the same time? That's what got us banned from
I
vote
was
manipulation.
just gonna say, isn't that against?
Yeah, it's not.
I've been banned on Reddit, man. It's not a good feeling. Reddit is a hard and mysterious place.
Oh, quid bro with it. Quality link here I gotta click on. Oh, and it's
Is it you?
That's DMing me.
Okay, let's outro this. Gordon, do you want to say any shout outs? Check out your channel. I'll probably, when I do my YouTube video, I'll link your channel in here.
Okay. I mean, we never talked about it, but why my name is my name.
Okay.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
that
I guess
obvious?
But that's pretty damn obvious. Like, I had a different name. Like I said, I played WoW forever. I used a different name, and I didn't see it translating over to League when I first started. So at the time, I was like, what would just be a really memey, trolly name? And I was watching like every season of Hell's Kitchen that week. I just beasted out. So I was like, Imagine Gordon Ramsay playing League of Legends, and I was like super ragey, hot-headed kid back then, so I was just like, this name is too freaking funny. So I just used Gordon Ramsay, and it stuck. Do I like anime? I mean, who doesn't? Come on.
Yeah, his Skype picture's
Nope,
weeb.
don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
we
name's
got this
just
one.
Kim.
Captain Stevie, tits or ass? No question
Oh.
on everyone's mind.
Ass, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's what I put too.
No question about it.
Both? Fuck, really?
Can't choose both.
Why can't you?
You used to be toxic. 2-week ban.
Dude, I used to be so toxic and
I
stuff
used
because
to
I
be
was like,
pretty toxic
I was
too.
super tryhard, man. But and I guess I kind of fell into the role of acting like Gordon Ramsay, and that got me banned quite a bit. So whenever I say hi, I'm Gordon, click have fun every game, people are like, "Fuck you, you're not Gordon." He wouldn't say that, and I was just like, I can't BM you anymore, else I'll get perma banned. So
Oh, man. Yeah.
don't impersonate bad people.
Don't. I found that the longer you have to spend typing an insult, the more likely you're gonna get banned. Because I got banned for a weekend conveniently after I spent like 2 whole chat segments in League at this one person. So I haven't done that since. I'm not gonna repeat it. So yeah. And Naz is calling you out here with the toxic.
He says I like wieners. He didn't give me the chance to pick.
Jiggity jam.
Okay, with that, we are outro us. I'm done. I'll outro us if you make me Swifty.
All right. With that question that we're not gonna answer, thank you, Gordon, for being on this great show. And I actually get to go to bed at a decent time this time. Usually it goes to like 11:30. Thank God. But thanks for being on here, Gordon. Thanks for being on here, Raisin, and thank me for being the life of the show here. And I can't look at chat; it keeps making me laugh. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Tune in on Premier League this weekend and Minor League. See what goes down, and then come back next week. We'll have some dank guests probably that are going to be in the finals of Premier League, and then a Minor League person.
Yep.
Just to mix it up. We only had Gordon on because we wanted him to feel special since he's a celebrity. So,
Thanks, man.
yeah.
Okay. Later,
That's about
guys.
it.